So as I said in my original video, this is all very fresh. I mean, literally this conversation happened last night. And so I've just, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I'm thinking about. And the biggest thing right now is just for us to come up with a vision for what this game could look like. And specifically, when I started to talk with my kids about it, they started talking about, being able to create islands of, if you go on vacation, you create this, and if you go become a doctor, you get this. And I think that those are all things that we want to be able to build on, but I think the big first step is to define what a version 1 could be. In software they talk about version 1.0, version 1.1, version 2.0, and I think that if we decided on a version 1.0 that would be an engaging game, that will probably be challenging enough. Couple thoughts. I'm going to think about it over the weekend, and if you submit ideas after you join the programming team, you're going to be taken to a page where you can make some suggestions about ideas for the game. You can also provide potential ideas for different careers and life events that will likely be part of the game. We haven't really defined what the game's going to be looking like, but I know one of the really fun parts of playing a game of life is you get to be you get a career, and I think you get like a income based on that career, and maybe you get married, and maybe you have kids. And in the game of life, you get little like things to put in your car. The car is your piece moving around the board. And I think that we could have a little display that shows, you and your family and what career you're in and where you went to college and all that kind of stuff. But again, some of those are things that we can do after the hard work is done of, how does a person move? How do the life events happen? When the life event does happen, do they have a bank where money gets put in and out? Are there health points? There's all kinds of decisions to be made, and that's really the game design process. We want it to be fun, but we also want it to be something that we can get started with, right? So I just put some notes here. I think if we have a bunch of, multiple players, you choose a character, and then like emulating the game, you roll the dice and you move along the board. We have a visual representation of the board. And then, different spots on the board have generation of events. Have like chance or opportunity. And you click on it and then it shows you what's going on. And we can make that really, really interactive, and we can make it where, like, if you're a doctor, you get these types of things. And if you're married, you get these types of things. Because we're doing it on the computer, we can do a lot of fun stuff. But here's what I would see as a starting point. It's just right now is brainstorming some ideas, how it could be. Then we could say, here's what we want our version 1 to look like, something that we can focus on building. Then, we have to draft it up. We have to say, all right, here's how players are going to get started. Here's how players are going to move. Here's what gets stored. Is it round based where you wait your turn? Is it people moving at their own turn? Is it time based? We'll have to make those decisions. And then we have to define the pieces. Is everyone going to be on the same board? Are there multiple boards? We can talk about, obviously we're going to need style to make it look a certain way. We're going to define the basic HTML. What are the different functions, JavaScript functions and events that we're going to want to create? That sort of thing. And then this is where it starts to get interesting, is we could say, here's a list of tasks. For instance, if I say, okay, I want somebody to work on the style sheet. Well, that would be great. Or if I want somebody, we say we need to build a board. Well, we can have somebody building the board, and then we can have another person building the style sheet, and we can have another person working on the JavaScript. So, this is just something where we'll have to move forward. And then, of course, there's ideas, and there's creating the life events. And each life event might have we might want to do it where there's some sort of, I'll just type this up here, you have a, job offer, and then if you say yes, you go in this direction. If you say no, you go in this direction. and that sort of thing. And so there's a lot of opportunities to play around with it. So I think it would be a fun thing to first think about and then second to do. But we can have a long list of tasks, and people can basically sign up for tasks and say, I will get this done. I will get us a style sheet, or I will do this one JavaScript function. So I'll think about how we can work together on that, but it'd be a really cool project to be working collaboratively like that. And even if you do, I don't want to scare you. It is the summer after all, but if you just want to watch, that's fine too. This makes it a lot more valuable for me to build this thing, because you guys can look at it. If you're learning your cascading style sheets, we can talk about that. If you're learning JavaScript, we can talk about that. jQuery, we can talk about that. The database stuff and the puts or the posts and gets, we can talk about that. So it's really just about being a part of this team. And even if what you're doing is testing it out and giving suggestions, that's a huge part of making something really good. So I'm nominating myself as a project manager and chief developer, and I'll get the process started, but we want to work on it together. So if you haven't already, make sure to register for the Life Programming team so that you'll be on the email list with updates and videos and stuff, and I can invite you to some online collaboration sessions, etc. And again, this is a drop-in type project, but I'll be pushing out the videos of all right, let's talk about designing this thing. Right now, this is less than 12 hours old, so forgive me if it's not completely well thought out, but I think it'll be super fun for us to work on. Okay, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of the ideas that you suggest.